I overcome things is not by thinking of them as happening to me, but happening for me.
Jennifer Lopez, the queen of pop and glamour, has been dragged into an explosive legal showdown involving P Diddy and a hostile inmate in a twist straight out of a Hollywood thriller. The bombshell lawsuit has fans and critics alike gasping as J.Lo's name takes center stage in a scandal that promises shocking revelations. What's her connection to the music mogul's courtroom chaos? Get ready, this drama is just getting started. Current allegations against Combs. Sean Diddy Combs used to be famous as a music mogul and entertainment star, but now he is facing a number of legal problems. To keep up with all the accusations and lawsuits, his lawyers are working extra hours, writing motions, and fighting on many fronts. In the many cases that have been brought up, Derek Cardello Smith's claim that Combs raped him in the 1990s is one of the weirdest. Because of Smith's claims, there has been a complicated court case that started with a huge $100 million verdict in Smith's favor. Smith has stepped up his efforts to prove his claims, even saying he wants to call pop star Jennifer Lopez as a witness after the decision was reversed. This strange case is just one part of Sean Combs' recent legal problems. He is also facing federal criminal charges and civil lawsuits that claim he did wrongdoings over many years. Combs is facing federal charges of trafficking, racketeering, and forcing people to take part in acts that last hours. Along with these serious claims, there are civil lawsuits that say the person was raped. Some of these lawsuits date back to the 1990s. Some of the plaintiffs say they were minors at the time of the claimed assaults. The plaintiffs are both men and women. The lawsuits talk about a routine of abuse, trickery, and fear. Many of these claims about the man have only come to light lately, but they paint a troubling picture of someone who was once seen as a legend in the music business. The entertainment world is still reeling from Combs' fall from grace, which has sparked new conversations about power, responsibility, and justice in the business. The Derek Cardello Smith case. Derek Cardello Smith is in jail at the Ernest C. Brooks Correctional Facility in Muskegon, Michigan right now. He has been found guilty of criminal behavior and kidnapping in the past. Smith has, even though he has a criminal record, become his own lawyer and is defending himself in a lawsuit against Sean Combs. Smith says that Combs raped him in the 1990s, and his claims are at the heart of a court case that has gotten a lot of attention for its strange circumstances. Smith has asked for a temporary restraining order, TRO, to stop Combs from selling off his properties, saying that doing so would make it harder for him to get money for possible losses. Smith showed up to court from jail via live stream to make his case. In his move, he said that letting Combs sell his properties and other assets would make it impossible for him to get justice. He said that these things have something to do with the claimed assault and that selling them would make it harder to get money in the future. Smith talked about recent interactions he supposedly had with Combs, such as talks with the music mogul and his financial advisor. Smith says Combs offered him $2.3 million to settle the case. Smith said that Combs was trying to sell off assets to pay for other court problems, which would leave Smith with little to get back if he won his case. Smith said that Combs was trying to get out of being responsible by selling properties and not responding to the case officially. Smith said that this action showed bad faith and showed why a TRO was needed. Smith said that without such an order, he would be seriously hurt. During the hearing, Smith went into great depth about what he said happened with Combs. He said Combs admitted that he was trying to avoid paying money and that the planned $2.3 million settlement wasn't enough to make up for the harm Smith had been through. Smith said that the talks were heated, and Combs is said to have said things that Smith took to mean that the accusations were not serious. When Smith talked about settlement talks in public, his evidence took an unexpected turn. The judge stepped in right away and told Smith that they shouldn't be talking about these things in court. This break showed how little Smith knew about the law and how hard it is to defend yourself in a complicated case. Smith said a TRO was needed to stop Combs from selling off assets and changing the names on property records. He said that he had financial ties to some of these properties because he had invested in them before and while he was in jail. Smith claimed that letting the sales go through would make it harder for him to get damages if the judge ruled in his favor. The judge heard carefully but stressed out the need for order in the process. The court has not yet decided on Smith's TRO request, so the result of this unusual case is still unknown. Federal charges and civil lawsuits. The case against Derek Cardello Smith is one of many legal problems Sean Combs has to deal with. Federal authorities say Combs is in charge of a huge criminal enterprise that includes trafficking, forced labor, and racketeering. Combs' reputation has been harmed by these charges and civil lawsuits from several people who say they were victims. The accusations talk about a routine of abuse that goes back many years. Plaintiffs say Combs took advantage of weak people, both men and women, by using his power and influence. See, some of the plaintiffs say they were teenagers at the time of the claimed incidents, which makes people wonder if Combs was really that mean. The news has made people angry and led to calls for responsibility. Combs used to be a big name in the music business, but now his image is in shambles. The podcast's goal is to report on famous court cases in a fair and factual way. Even though he spoke with passion and detail, it was clear that he had not studied law before the meeting. When the judge stepped in to change the subject to procedural issues, it showed how hard it is to deal with the court system without a lawyer. A lot of people are interested in the ongoing court battle between Sean Combs and Cardelo Smith because of how serious the accusations are and how complicated the legal moves are. Cardelo Smith, who is in jail at the moment, has sued Combs, saying that he drugged, raped, and used him at a party in Detroit in 1997. There have been big changes in the case, like a temporary order that stops Combs from selling his Los Angeles home in Holmby Hills. While the court case goes on, the case not only makes people wonder if Smith's claims are true, but it also shows how complicated the court system can be. Plaintiff's allegations. At the heart of the case are multiple allegations made by Cardelo Smith against Sean Combs. Smith asserts that during a party in Detroit in 1997, Combs assaulted him, recording the incident without his consent. Furthermore, Smith claims that Combs manipulated him into taking the blame for a separate case, promising investment opportunities and bad boy records in return. These allegations have been bolstered by Smith's extensive filings, which include hundreds of pages of documents, case law, and arguments submitted to the court. Smith also alleges a larger conspiracy, asserting that Detroit police collaborated with Combs to cover up the assault. He claims this collusion was part of a broader effort to protect Combs' reputation and business interests. To support his case, Smith has submitted various legal documents naming material witnesses, including a former employee of Combs and pop superstar Jennifer Lopez. In August 2024, shortly after Smith filed his complaint, the court issued an injunction preventing Combs from selling his Holmby Hills property for 90 days. This injunction was designed to ensure that no assets were dissipated while the case was pending. Complicating matters further, Combs did not respond to the initial summons, leading the court to issue a default judgment in Smith's favor. This judgment awarded $100 million to Smith, marking a significant milestone in the case. However, this decision was short-lived. Combs' legal team swiftly filed emergency motions to set aside the default judgment, arguing that they had no prior knowledge of the lawsuit and did not recognize Smith's identity. The court granted their request, vacating the default judgment and allowing the case to proceed. Combs has since denied all allegations and continues to defend his innocence vigorously. Combs' legal team in denial of allegations. Lawyers for Sean Combs have said that Smith's claims are false and have no basis in reality, but one of Combs' lawyers, Mark Agnafilo, said the lawsuit was an attempt by a convicted felon to hurt the image of a well-known businessman. Combs has not been found guilty or responsible in any criminal or civil case connected to these claims, the defense team stresses. Combs also says that he doesn't know anything about Cardelo Smith and has no link to him. Smith has kept filing motions and legal documents and defending himself in court, even though the denial was very strong. Even though he has a lot of filings, they have been criticized for having mistakes in them, like wrong times and places, which could hurt his credibility. Despite this, Smith has shown amazing persistence by submitting hundreds of pages of documents to support his cause. The story of Cardelo Smith's time in prison is complicated and controversial. He is currently in jail for decades because he was found guilty of many sexual crimes such as kidnapping, third-degree and first-degree criminal sexual conduct, and more. Smith was first found guilty in 1998 and has been charged with more crimes since then. Because of this, his punishment has grown over time, and he won't be able to get out of jail until 2036 at the earliest. Smith says that he has been wrongly charged in these cases and that police officers worked together to hurt him. He says that the police did something wrong that led to his first conviction in 1988, and he has made many appeals to challenge these decisions. People don't trust Smith because he has a criminal past and has filed a lot of lawsuits, many of which have been thrown out or found to be unfounded. Smith says Smith has named several important witnesses in his case against Combs. These include Kirk Burroughs, a former employee of Combs, Derek Parker, a police officer in New York, and Jennifer Lopez, a pop star. Lopez dated Combs from 1999 to 2001 and has a long past with the music mogul, including a public incident in December 1999. In this case, Combs, Lopez, his bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones, and rapper Jamal Shine Barrow got into a fight in a New York City bar that turned violent. The people were caught after they tried to leave the scene of the crime in a car that cops stopped. A stolen gun was found in the car, which led to charges being brought against everyone inside. Lopez's charges were dropped, but Combs and his bodyguard were found not guilty after a trial. Shine, on the other hand, was found guilty of having a weapon and first-degree assault and sent to prison. According to Smith's court papers, Lopez and the other witnesses may know things that support his claims, but it's still not clear if these witnesses will be present at the hearing or if they will just watch. Someone named Cardello Smith, who spent almost 9 years in jail on charges he says were set up by other people, has made shocking claims about Sean Combs, who is better known as Diddy. Smith says that Combs was the one who fired the shots that got him arrested, but Smith took the blame for him. Even though this claim is very shocking, it is only the first of many that Smith has made against Combs. In his most recent statement, Smith says that Jennifer Lynn Lopez, who most people know as J.Lo or Jenny from the Block, is a key witness in his case. Smith says that Combs has and is sharing a recorded sexual assault that happened to Smith in 1977. Combs, he says, not only planned the crime, but also told Lopez not to say anything about it. The scope of these claims is shocking. They include well-known people and claims of a huge plot. Lopez is shown in Smith's filing to have been deeply involved in the events leading up to the claimed assault. Jennifer Lopez's alleged involvement. Smith alleges that during Lopez's relationship with Sean Combs, which reportedly lasted from 1999 to 2001, she was made aware of the existence of a videotape documenting the alleged sexual assault. According to Smith, the video was recorded by Combs and his employee Kirk Burroughs and stored at Combs' New York residence and recording studio. Smith further claims that Lopez was questioned by New York police detective Derek Parker about the tape. He states that Lopez admitted the tape existed, but took no action to inform law enforcement or bring the matter to light. Smith portrays Lopez as someone who was complicit in the cover-up, alleging that she prioritized her relationship with Combs over the moral obligation to report the crime. Smith has declared his intent to call Jennifer Lopez as a material witness in his case. He believes her testimony, along with evidence from Detective Parker, could substantiate his claims about the existence of the tape and Combs' efforts to conceal it. In addition to Lopez, Smith has named Detective Derek Parker as a witness. He asserts that Parker's testimony regarding his questioning of Lopez could provide critical insights into the case. Smith is adamant that these witnesses can corroborate his claims, despite the challenges posed by the passage of time and the controversial nature of the allegations. Smith's filing is extensive, totaling over 200 pages, with much of it comprising detailed references to case law. He uses these references to argue against Combs' motion to dismiss the case. According to Smith, his legal arguments are backed by precedent and should not be ignored, even if the claims are viewed as extraordinary or unconventional. Smith's accusations extend beyond the alleged sexual assault and cover-up. He claims that Combs engaged in violent behavior toward those close to him, including threats and physical harm. Smith alleges that Combs caused serious injuries to his brother and issued threats against Smith's family to silence him. These alleged threats, Smith argues, were a primary reason he delayed filing his lawsuit. He claims that the danger posed by Combs made it impossible for him to act until the federal government, through Homeland Security, became involved. Smith contends that this delay should override any concerns about the statute of limitations, which Combs' legal team has cited as a reason for dismissal. According to Smith, Combs visited him in prison multiple times, including a visit on August 28, 2024, just days before Combs' own arrest on unrelated charges in September. Smith alleges that during these visits, Combs issued direct threats, warning him to remain silent. Smith claims that visitor logs and security footage from the prison could confirm these visits, but accuses authorities of burying this evidence to protect Combs. He argues that such threats further demonstrate why his delayed filing of the lawsuit should not disqualify his claims. Accusations against Combs' attorneys. Smith has not limited his accusations to Sean Combs. He has also targeted Combs' legal team, accusing them of aiding in the cover-up of the alleged crimes. Specifically, Smith has called for attorneys from the law firm of Fink, Bresek, and Sher Tremonti to have their licenses reviewed for potential disbarment. Sean Combs' legal team has categorically denied Smith's allegations, describing them as transparently false and part of a conspiratorial narrative. In court filings, they have labeled Smith's claims as baseless and argued that they should be dismissed on procedural grounds, including the statute of limitations. The attorneys also assert that many of the documents Smith has presented, including affidavits and transcripts, are fabricated. For example, one document names Catherine Preston as Combs' agent, but the defense claims that Preston is actually Smith's intimate associate, whom he refers to as his wife. The attorneys also assert that many of the documents Smith has presented, including affidavits and transcripts, are fabricated. For example, one document names Catherine Preston as Combs' agent, but the defense claims that Preston is actually Smith's intimate associate, whom he refers to as his wife. Combs' legal team has further argued that Smith's filing does not establish a credible connection between his claims and the evidence provided. They describe Smith's allegations as part of a pattern of frivolous lawsuits that he has filed over the years. According to Combs' legal team, Smith has a long history of filing frivolous lawsuits. Court records show that Smith has been involved in 173 lawsuits and appeals in the Sixth Circuit and its district courts. Most of these cases have been dismissed as meritless, but Smith has continued to file new claims. Numerous judges have admonished Smith to cease his litigation efforts, but their warnings have reportedly gone unheeded. Combs' attorneys have asked the court to sanction Smith and bar him from filing further lawsuits, describing his actions as a shakedown. One of the key arguments in this case revolves around the statute of limitations. Combs' legal team has argued that even if every claim Smith has made were true, they would be time barred. Smith, however, contends that the threats and danger posed by Combs justified his delayed filing. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest breaking news and celebrity drama. Hit the bell icon for instant notifications.